Hey guys, welcome back. Let's talk about something that almost no one explains honestly anymore. There is a huge difference between having sex and making love. And in modern dating, that difference has almost completely disappeared. Not because people don't want connection, but because sex has slowly turned into something else. A release, a distraction, a way to feel wanted, a way to feel close without actually having to get close. And that shift has changed how people bond today. When you first date someone, there's usually excitement, curiosity, playfulness. There's long conversations, there's jokes, the small details that you notice in that person. That early phase matters more than most people realize, because that's where chemistry actually forms. Not sexual chemistry, but human chemistry. The kind that comes from laughter, from sharing moments, from slowly feeling safe around each other. But sadly, today, that stage gets rushed. Sex shows up early, sometimes immediately, sometimes before you even know who the other person really is. And once sex enters the picture too early, it changes the direction of the connection. Not always in a bad way, but often in a confusing one. Here's why. When sex happens before emotional familiarity, it creates a shortcut to intimacy. Your body feels close, but your mind hasn't caught up yet. So you experience closeness without context. And that's where a lot of situationships begin. You feel bonded, but you don't actually know what you're bonded to. And that's very different from making love. Making love requires presence, comfort, trust, knowing how the other person feels about you and how you feel about them. It's not just physical. It's emotional awareness layered on top of a physical connection. And that kind of experience usually doesn't happen when two people barely know each other. That's why waiting can matter. Not because sex is wrong, not because desire is bad, but because timing changes meaning. When you wait early on, you give space for tension to build naturally. And this tension is a good thing. You learn how to flirt without touching, how to communicate interest without crossing lines, how to feel desire without giving everything away immediately. And that kind of anticipation can be powerful. It heightens attraction instead of replacing it. And something else happens too. When sex isn't on the table right away, people are forced to connect in other ways. Conversations matter more. Personality matters more. How someone treats you matters more. You start asking different questions. Do I actually enjoy this person? Do I feel comfortable around this person? Do I feel curious to want to know more about this person? And those questions often get skipped when physical intimacy shows up too soon. And here's another truth that people don't like to admit. Sex early on can mask incompatibility. You can feel close to someone and still not be aligned with them. You can feel bonded and still not be on the same page with them. And that's where the confusion starts. One person assumes connection and the other assumes casual, and no one wants to be the first one to define it. That's how people end up hurt, even when no one had bad intentions. Making love usually doesn't leave people confused. Having sex sometimes does. Because making love tends to happen when there's clarity about interest, about intention, about direction. Now, let me be clear. Waiting doesn't guarantee a perfect relationship, nor does it guarantee a commitment, or does it guarantee love. But it does increase the chances that when sex happens, it actually means something. It becomes an extension of connection, not a substitute for it. Another thing that gets overlooked when sex happens early, people often bond to the feeling, not to the person. And when the feeling fades, they think the connection faded too. And that's why some people go from intense closeness to emotional distance very quickly. It wasn't love fading. It was chemistry burning fast without anything underneath it. Waiting gives you time to build something underneath. Something that can hold weight. There's always a confidence that comes from waiting, not playing games, not withholding, but choosing timing intentionally. It says value connection. I don't rush closeness. I want to know you, not just feel you. And that kind of energy is rare today, and it's often misunderstood, but extremely powerful because it signals self-respect. And self-respect changes how people treat you. Now, here's the part that matters most. Many people today go through relationships having plenty of sex, but very little intimacy. They choose physical closeness with emotional safety, and some may go their entire lives never really realizing what making love feels like because they never slowed down long enough to let it develop. And that's really sad. Making love isn't just about the act. It's about being fully present with someone, being fully seen, fully chosen, fully safe enough to open up with them. And that usually doesn't happen on the first date, the second date, or the third one. It happens when people have taken the time to know each other beyond attraction. So waiting isn't about rules. It's about depth. It's about letting desire grow instead of rushing to satisfy it. Because sometimes the strongest connections aren't built by how fast you get there, but how intentionally you let it unfold. And in a dating culture that moves very fast, slowing down can be a thing that sets you apart and protects your heart. That's the difference between having sex and making love. And once you've experienced both, you understand why timing matters. So I hope this message meant something to you today. And if it did, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Thank you for listening on the podcast. Thank you for viewing on the YouTube channel. And I will see you on the next episode.
Thanks for listening to Dating to Win. If you're serious about improving your dating game, don't miss an episode. Hit the subscribe button or go to youtube.com/datingtowin25. Good luck out there, and we'll see you on the next episode of Dating to Win.